And I guess with the offseason too, Amber mentioned in her exit interview that the number one priority was to land Kelsey in free agency again. Just how important was she to your team this year? How important has she been to the Fever? Obviously, the 8 years she's been with the franchise, and how badly do you want to keep her around?
I mean, yeah, she was the number one priority a year ago, and she's the number one priority this year.
Let's break this down, because Stephanie White just said what everyone's been whispering behind the scenes. In her latest interview, she made it very clear who she's building around. And it's not Caitlin Clark, it's Kelsey Mitchell. Yep, you heard that right. Not the rookie who shattered records, filled every arena she stepped into, and brought the Fever back into the national spotlight. The focus, according to White, is on Kelsey. Now, let's be real. Kelsey Mitchell is a baller. She's a proven scorer and a respected veteran who's put in the work for years. But there's a big difference between keeping a star player and building your entire franchise around one. One helps you stay competitive. The other determines if you're contending for a championship or just fighting to make the playoffs. And what really caught fans off guard wasn't just what White said, it was the confidence in how she said it. Almost like that decision was made long before Caitlin Clark ever went down with her injury. So what do you think? Did Coach White just reveal the Fever's real direction? Or is there more to the story? Drop your thoughts down below.
You have not lost sight of the fact that when Caitlin Clark got injured, Stephanie White called it a, quote, blessing in disguise. I've also said that I believe if you gave Stephanie White truth serum, she would actually tell you she believes this team was better without Caitlin Clark. I believe that. And I felt that way for quite some time. I believe that she believes that Kelsey Mitchell is the superstar on this team.
Then came the line that changed everything. A blessing in disguise. When a coach describes her superstar's injury that way, it stops sounding like optimism and starts feeling like betrayal. Let's talk facts. Kelsey Mitchell averaged 19.2 points this season. Solid numbers, no doubt. But Caitlin Clark, just a season ago, she was right there too. 19 points per game, plus 8.4 assists, the highest in the league, and nearly 6 rebounds a night. And here's the real kicker. Caitlin did all that while completely changing how defenses played the Fever. She didn't just put up stats, she transformed the entire system. One player can score for herself, the other makes everyone around her better. Both are talented, but only one is generational, and we all know who that is. Now here's where it gets even more ironic. After last season's Olympic break, when Caitlin was finally unleashed as the main playmaker, Kelsey Mitchell's numbers actually went up. She produced more within Caitlin's offense than she did this year under Stephanie White's so-called motion system. Think about that. The offense built around Caitlin lifted everyone. Yet somehow Coach White seems to think the Fever's future runs through one player. And it's not Caitlin Clark.
What Christy Sides ended up running was Caitlin's system. Now this year, you know, the second half of the season, it was the whatever system, motion offense system. But that system did not work very well for Kelsey. Now, Kelsey balled out, but she's going to ball out regardless. You know what I'm saying? And she's kind of a...
All right, let's dive into this interview, because every word from Stephanie White sounded carefully polished. When she said, we're going to continue to build around her, that one word, her, said it all. Not them, not our stars, just her. Singular. That tiny detail tells you everything you need to know before any press release even hits. It's corporate talk dressed up as basketball strategy, the kind of line that quietly signals the decision's already been made. It's like one of those company meetings where the boss praises everyone's effort right before announcing who's being replaced. And here's where White's reasoning starts to crumble. She keeps bringing up loyalty, saying Kelsey Mitchell's earned it after years of rebuilding, losing seasons, and chaos. Now loyalty's great, it's noble, but loyalty doesn't hang banners. Talent does. Look at history. The Warriors didn't build around their longest tenured role player. They built around Steph Curry. The Cavaliers didn't win because of loyalty. They went all in on LeBron James. That's how dynasties are made. Stability might keep you steady, but superstars make you legendary. And yes, Kelsey Mitchell is a vital piece, part of the Fever's big three, but there's only one truly generational player on that roster, and her name is Caitlin Clark. Let's not forget, Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston were already there before Caitlin arrived, and the whole reason Indiana even got the #1 pick was to draft Caitlin Clark.
Now, Kelsey Mitchell is a very important piece. She's part of the big three. But there's only one Jordan-like generational talent on this team, and it's Caitlin Clark. The fact is, Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, they were around before Caitlin showed up. And they got the number 1 overall pick to get Caitlin Clark.
Honestly, the questions they asked just weren't cutting it. I mean, come on. You've got Stephanie White sitting right there, and nobody asked the real stuff? Where were the tough questions? Like, what actually happened with Caitlin Clark's injury? Why didn't she return after that ankle issue? We never even saw her in a boot. A groin injury usually means a pulled muscle. Achei. So what's the full story here? Ask her straight up. Coach, if Caitlin Clark had come back, do you think your team could have made a deeper playoff run? Sure, maybe she wouldn't have given a direct answer, but it wouldn't have hurt to ask. Sometimes it's those uncomfortable questions that reveal the truth fans really want to know.
Since they asked is by far not good enough for me. I am sorry. I mean, you got Stephanie White right there. Ask these hardcore questions. What was really wrong with Caitlin Clark? The reason why she did not come back from that ankle injury. We never seen her in a boot. A groin injury is pretty much pulled muscle. Ask those tough questions. Ask her, do you believe had Caitlin Clark returned, y'all could have had a chance to go far? Now, granted, she might not have answered that one, but it wouldn't have hurt to ask.
And the media, they barely pushed back. No hard questions, no follow-ups when Stephanie White's comments didn't add up. That entire interview felt so filtered, it could have been stamped with the Fever's PR approval. It barely cracked 1,000 views, because fans aren't dumb. They can tell when something's genuine and when it's just corporate spin. This wasn't just a missed chance to communicate, it was a complete breach of trust. When your franchise player goes down, fans deserve transparency. Caitlin Clark deserves honesty. Instead, what she got was silence. Brushed aside in favor of protecting the organization's image. And that's the painful irony. Caitlin's the reason this team is even relevant again. She's the one who brought the fans back, who made people care about Indiana basketball in the first place. Stephanie White might think she's in control, but right now, it looks like she's driving the ship straight into the storm. Because when you choose loyalty over greatness, you don't just lose games, you lose belief. And if this franchise ever loses Caitlin Clark's belief, they won't just lose a player. They'll lose the future.
I also believe part of Kelsey Mitchell's performance this year was the fact that Caitlin wasn't there to take some of those shots. The fact is, Kelsey Mitchell took some shots that would have been Caitlin's. Let's just be real. And because of that extra volume and the fact that she had to be the main offensive threat, it also caused an explosion.
Let's really talk about what went down when Caitlin Clark got hurt, because that's when the truth started to show. The moment Caitlin was sidelined, Kelsey Mitchell's usage rate skyrocketed. Every play that used to run through Caitlin, every fast break, every crunch time set, every drawn up possession, suddenly revolved around Kelsey. And to her credit, she delivered. She put up big numbers, hit clutch shots, and looked every bit like an all-star. But here's the part nobody inside the Fever organization wants to say out loud. Sometimes players look better when the generational star isn't there. Not because they've suddenly leveled up, but because the system shifts to inflate their role. It's like when LeBron James goes down and the second option suddenly drops 30 a night. Sure, they get more shots, more attention, and more highlight reels, but the team doesn't actually improve. It just survives. That's exactly what's happening in Indiana. Kelsey Mitchell is thriving, yes, but she's thriving in a setup built on volume, not victory. She's a phenomenal player, no doubt, but there's a big difference between being a great scorer and being the foundation of a championship team. To be blunt, Kelsey Mitchell is like Scottie Pippen, an elite, two-way talent crucial to winning, but not the centerpiece you build an empire around. And before anyone calls that a slight, let's remember that Scottie was a top 50 player all time. But when Michael Jordan retired, that same Bulls team went from a dynasty to an early playoff exit. Same roster, same coach, different focus, and that's the story playing out in Indiana right now. You can win with Kelsey Mitchell, but you can't build around her.
I like Kelsey Mitchell. I'm not trying to dog out Kelsey Mitchell, but she's the clear number 2 option on this team. All right, and everything should run through Caitlin Clark.
And Stephanie White knows this. She's been around the game her entire life. A true basketball mind. Someone who studied systems and schemes for decades. So if she was really serious about building around Kelsey Mitchell, the entire roster would have to look completely different. You'd need defenders at every position to cover her weaknesses. A pass-first point guard who's content setting others up. A rim protector who doesn't care about touches. And a group of 3-and-D wings spacing the floor. Basically, you'd have to recreate the 2001 Allen Iverson Sixers, a team that made one magical finals run, burned out, and never sniffed that level again. That's not how you build a dynasty, that's how you build a one-year wonder. And here's the tragic irony. The Indiana Fever already have the foundation of a championship caliber roster. They just refuse to see it. Caitlin Clark as your floor general and offensive engine. Kelsey Mitchell as your lethal off-ball scorer. Aaliyah Boston as your anchor inside, both a wall on defense and a force in the post. That's your modern day big three, a perfect blend for the pace and space era. A lineup built for speed, movement, and chaos. The kind of system that no defense in the league can keep up with, and we already saw a glimpse of it last season. Once Christy Sides finally handed Caitlin the keys after the Olympics, the Fever's offense came alive. Kelsey's numbers didn't drop, they actually became more efficient. Aaliyah's rebounding and scoring both climbed because Caitlin created easier looks for everyone. The team flowed like a perfectly tuned orchestra. Then Stephanie White came in, tore up the sheet music, and replaced it with a motion offense that's supposed to keep everyone involved, but instead left the team without an identity.
She has decided that she's building around Kelsey Mitchell, and to build around Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark is not who you need to build around Kelsey Mitchell. You need to build around Kelsey Mitchell. You have to build an Allen Iverson type Sixers team. You can have, in my opinion, you should trade Aaliyah as well. In my opinion, you should trade. I don't think Aaliyah is the right center to have beside Kelsey Mitchell. Like, I think you should trade Kate. You should trade Caitlin, you should trade her.
So instead of backing the superstar who completely transformed the franchise, Stephanie White has gone public saying Kelsey Mitchell is the top priority, not Caitlin Clark, the rookie who broke more than 60 records, filled every arena she stepped into, and single-handedly reignited national interest in the WNBA. No, the focus is on an 8-year veteran who, for most of those seasons, couldn't pull Indiana out of the lottery. Now, this isn't about discrediting Kelsey. She's earned her respect, but it's about what kind of organization you want to be. Are you chasing comfort or greatness? Are you loyal or are you legendary? Because history doesn't remember who stuck around the longest. It remembers who changed everything. The Lakers didn't build around Derek Fisher because of loyalty. They built around Kobe Bryant because he was generational. The Warriors didn't center their system around Draymond Green. They built around Steph Curry, the player who redefined the game. Right now, the Indiana Fever are blurring the line between sentimentality and strategy. And that's exactly how dynasties die before they ever begin. Here's where things get even more complicated. Kelsey Mitchell's a free agent. She's got leverage. She can demand a massive payday and she knows it. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is locked into her rookie deal for 2 more years. She can't negotiate. She can't force a trade. She can't even publicly question the team's direction without being painted as the problem. So yeah, from a business standpoint, Stephanie White's comments make sense. You keep your free agent happy, but from a basketball standpoint, from a leadership perspective, it's a disaster. Because by publicly putting Kelsey above Caitlin, you're sending one message loud and clear: politics over performance.
How important was she to your team this year? How important has she been to the Fever? Obviously, the 8 years she's been with the franchise, and how badly do you want to keep her around?
I mean, yeah, she was the number 1 priority a year ago, and she's the number 1 priority this year. She's been so important. And, I said this last year, Kelsey deserves to go through this stage of her Indiana Fever career. She's been through sort of the worst of the worst,
What we're seeing now is the Fever slipping into the same echo chamber that destroys so many promising teams. The coach praises the veteran, the front office repeats the same talking points, and the PR team spins it as balance and team-first culture. But no one's asking the real questions. Is this offense actually working? Are we using our best player to her full potential? Are we chasing championships or just protecting egos? Because if we're being honest, the history speaks for itself. Kelsey Mitchell has led Indiana in scoring for years, and what did that lead to? 5-win seasons, endless rebuilds, coaching changes. The Fever were a punchline. Then Caitlin Clark arrived, and everything changed overnight. Suddenly, Indiana was must-see basketball. Every arena she stepped into sold out. Her jersey became impossible to find. ESPN moved the Fever to primetime. One player, one generational player, did that. And yet, instead of building around her, the organization is basically saying, "Thanks for saving us. Now go stand in the corner." It's the kind of short-sighted decision that could haunt them for years. Sure, Kelsey Mitchell will get her max contract, and she's earned that bag, but it comes with a new label, franchise player. And when Indiana inevitably hits that ceiling, a second-round playoff exit, maybe a conference finals run if they're lucky, the questions will start rolling in. Why isn't Caitlin Clark running the offense more? Why does the system look like it's holding her back? Why prioritize a veteran scorer over a once-in-a-generation talent? By the time those answers come, it might already be too late.
I'm telling you right now, I believe Stephanie White believes Kelsey Mitchell's the best player on this team. That's on a team that's got Caitlin Clark on the team, on the roster.
Caitlin Clark's contract clock is already ticking. Just 2 years left on her deal. And if those 2 years are wasted in a system that sidelines her talent, where her coach publicly downplays her role, then why would she stay? She doesn't have to. Caitlin could walk into any locker room in the country, New York, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and instantly turn that team into a title threat. So if Indiana keeps putting politics before potential, they're not just risking a few disappointing seasons. They're risking their entire future. And the sad part? This isn't new. The WNBA has a long history of undervaluing its brightest stars. Teams misread talent, hold on to loyalty, and ignore the generational players standing right in front of them. The Fever are simply the latest example. Another small market team confusing comfort with vision. When Caitlin's deal expires, every powerhouse franchise will be waiting at the door. The Liberty, a massive market with championship DNA. The Aces, built on a winning culture. The Sparks, backed by LA's spotlight and mainstream reach. They'll all be ready to make their pitch. Meanwhile, Indiana will be left clinging to their motion offense, wondering how they managed to lose the most marketable and game-changing player women's basketball has seen in decades. And when that day comes, every headline will read the same: "The Fever betrayed Caitlin Clark." Because this isn't just about losing a player, it's about losing a once-in-a-generation opportunity. They chose safety over boldness, familiarity over greatness, loyalty over legacy. And in sports, that's the one mistake you never recover from. Let us know what you think about Coach White's comments down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Click on the one on your screen now, and we'll see you next time.